welcome to the Stuff Up Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Ann Webb, and my guest today is Laura Strater, who is a teacher, uh, advocate for people with ADHD, learning disabilities. She is she does live talks on Facebook, and you do a lot of things. Laura, you do pageants.
Yes,
You have a TikTok account where you share your journey doing physical activity and showing us that you can get stronger and more fit as you go. And you're very inspiring with sharing your journey. So welcome, Laura.
thank you, thank you. Honored to be here. I was very glad when you sent me your invite. I'm like, yes, of course. I want to be out there with Stephanie and join one of her podcasts. If you didn't ask me, I would have asked you if we could do one together. So yay!
Yay.
They say minds think alike. And so yes, ADHD. We have decided upon the title of ADHD is not who I am, but ADHD is part of my journey.
Yeah. And that's very important for people to know because a lot of times we can label ourselves or label other people as such. But just before we get into that topic, I was just wondering if there's anything else you'd like to add to what I introduced you as.
Sure. So I'm someone who is passionate about psychology, clinical mental health. I have a master's in clinical mental health from Romania, and I'm doing another one in the same area here in the US, as transferring credits can prove to be difficult as an international here in the western part of the world. From the European point of view, I'm originally from Romania. I came to the US in 2007. I've been a US citizen for a few years, probably since 2015, more exactly. And my husband is Terrence, seventh generation American. He is a very nice gentleman, very loving, very caring. And I am just blessed to have um, a lot of great things in my life because of him and because of our marriage. But of course, the biggest blessing is his person and his support. I also have three wonderful stepchildren. Those are a little bit about myself. And I love communicating with people. And so I'm looking forward to share a little bit from my own experience with ADHD, undiagnosed up until 2 years ago as an adult woman when I was approximately 46 years old. And um, also from the experience with children that I have taught, some of them had neurodivergence, whether it was ADHD or autism, and some of them required behavioral intervention or behavioral support because they had certain challenges from a behavioral point of view. So I got a chance to notice, observe, write down, document, and work with psychologists on a behavior improvement plan. So there's those are the three sources of my experience and training in ADHD, my master's, my bachelor's in psychology, as well as my experience with children as an educator for many years, and my own experience with ADHD and those around me.
Thank you. Yes, you have a lot of education, you have a lot of experience and knowledge, and you help so many people by teaching, by sharing, and it's such a beautiful thing what you're doing. And so yeah, I was curious. So you were only diagnosed 2 years ago.
Approximately, yes.
So what was the process like? Did you go to a doctor and say, I think I might have ADHD, or did somebody suggest to you to go see? Like, how did you come to that getting diagnosed?
I guess I was hiding it well, but I was aware ever since I started studying psychology. So that was in 10th grade. I had a pretty good psychology teacher in 10th grade, and I remember devouring that textbook even before I started school. I just started reading the psychology books, and it was just one of those extraordinary aha moments. And at the time, they were showing one of the things that had struck me, this big circle divided by four with different types of temperaments and personalities. Um, there's a lot of different ones, but this one might have been coined by Isaac back in the early 90s or even before, where the cholerics associated with the lion in a different metaphor. And then I could tell that my sister has those traits. And then the sanguine type, which would be the easygoing, fun, party goer, talking, making jokes, and loved by everybody, but don't try to rely on them. And then the other one would be the I remember it soon. Um, but the other one, the fourth one is melancholic, who is very detailed and anxious and just kind of quiet and meditative. And the other one, it was mine. Um, I can't remember how to translate it from Romania right now, but it's not that important. So that in itself what was opening the whole a whole world in front of me, and I just devoured that book. And then I started learning more about it, and it just caught like fire on me. And then as I was going along, kept reading psychology and all of those. And then even from high school, my classmates would like rely on me if they wanted to talk to someone. They seemed to pick me if they wanted to be sharing, like they were sad or they wanted to share with me. Apparently, I was a good listener, something like that. So once I went to my first college for theology, then I guess there were many connections between theology and psychology. And then we studied, I was on the track where you could also teach. So basically, I started learning about teaching. And so that includes a lot of psychology principles, behavior, blah, blah, sensory, perception, etc. So, of course, that was absolutely fascinating. And after that I had to go to get a bachelor's in psychology because I want to do Christian counseling. So what could be greater than, I mean, all kinds of counseling, but also to filter psychology through the lens of the Bible and the spiritual part. So, and then I'm like, okay, let me try my luck with this master's. I don't know what my chances are because the competition was absolutely unbelievable for that master's in clinical mental health at the best university in psychology in Romania. So I made it, and it was one of the best years of my life. And just I fell in love with genetics and just everything, health psychology. It was absolutely everything but statistics.
So was it studying psychology that you started to like I know a lot of people who get into counseling and therapy, they want to become that because they want to learn more about themselves. So as you were studying, you were excited to learn more about yourself and what was going on within you?
Yes, I I studied a lot of psychology and Christian counseling books, and and I was becoming aware because your question where we started, the spinal cord was of your first question was um, how did I figure out that I have ADHD if somebody suggested? No, nobody suggested. I saw it in myself, mostly ADD with the other hyperactive part. I did have some input from family that I was a little devilish child. My sister would say that, but I don't think I don't think I was that. I was just maybe a little hyper and very curious and very active and very energetic. So if I did have a hyper part, but of course, based on the Romanian standards, you have to be the little submissive girl. You have to sit still all the time. And she would tie me up. That's one of my traumas from the childhood, but I've got over it and I've forgiven my grandma. She was tying me with a rope around my waist and tying me up with not with a short leash by the bed foot. And so uh, imagine me and my cousin, same age, we played together nicely, best friends since 3 years old. She wasn't tied and I was. Now, why? Because grandma couldn't, had to do her chores. So anyway, I got over that, but they used to make fun of that in the family. How's that fun? It wasn't fun for me. Now I don't care anymore. She did the best she could. She had to wash clothes by hand and sweep the floors. I don't know. She couldn't do it with me and my other 3-year-old cousin. So apparently I was hyperactive. But I was a good kid. And my mom will always say that. But, when parents are stressed out, they don't see that you're a good kid. They just see the problems. So I knew ever since was at some point when I got to college, why am I losing everything? Everything that's not attached to my head naturally or artificially, and or my body. And so I would lose everything, and sometimes expensive things, and sometimes that was very inconvenient. So that's one of the things that I couldn't understand what's wrong with me. And then probably daydreaming, and I noticed I'm very slow. Like I was getting the best grades or going to math Olympiad and language Olympiad and everything, and I was always finished the last. I would still get the best grades. Some finished early and didn't get a good grade. I would always be the last. Like the teachers were probably like, 1, 2, 3, 4. When is this girl gonna end? Because we gotta go home and have lunch. So basically, I felt at some point, why am I so slow? Why people are so fast? I associated what I heard about it as the daydreaming. So I kind of diagnosed myself over the years. I saw the daydreaming. It was productive, but it made me slow. I was curious, inquisitive, but I think I've lost the hyperactive part if I ever had it. Um, and then I was just a healthy, energetic child. And then uh, basically I saw certain signs that I interpreted based on the psychology and learning, working in kindergarten with kids with ADHD while studying psychology. I've learned a lot about how they can sit still, how they are distracted, so I started to see some of those things in myself, but it was vague because we can't be objective with ourselves as doctors, as psychologists. It's like with the mechanics, our cars will still break. It's just that we're more aware of it and we know how to prevent some of these things, but it doesn't mean our minds don't break under the trauma or something. So I started to see certain traits that I studied about in ADHD as a teacher, psychology student, etc., clinical mental health student. And I kind of diagnosed myself. I think I have ADD. And but I didn't even saw a quarter of how much ADD, ADHD was influencing me. Um, Again, because we can't be so objective with ourselves. So I get to like 35, 36 years old, and I'm starting to wonder because I heard that you can get Alzheimer's and dementia even in your mid 30s. It doesn't show very well up until later. And I saw a lot of my friends having trouble with, like, they would complain, oh, I can't remember this, I can't remember that, I can't, and I was losing my things continuously, phones, keys, everything. And so I started to see how that, I thought I had Alzheimer's or early dementia. And and it didn't occur to me it was ADHD, but my primary care, when I complained, I said, I'm a little embarrassed to tell, but I wonder if I have early dementia, but I'd rather want to know. It's not a matter of labels, but I was mature enough. I don't care if it's a label. I just want to know the truth. Okay. At this point, I just want to know the truth because um, I've studied so much more and I've seen it so much more in the students here that I was working with. So the primary care was so smart, and she sent me to a neuropsychologist and I got evaluated. It turns out I do have ADHD, but ADHD is the big umbrella nowadays. And my subtype, there's so many subtypes, four main ones, but my subtype is mostly ADD, the distracted kind. So that was a little bit, I suspected it. I knew that it's affecting me, but once I got officially diagnosed and I started to learn more and more about it, I still cannot believe I am in, oh, but in shock, positives and negatives. Positive because I interpret it as my superpower now. I rewire my brain to think of it not as a damaging something, not as a debilitating condition. But the truth is, I can see how it's debilitating me tremendously the more I become aware of it. And I'm trying to keep a balance. I'm not looking for, okay, how is this debilitating me? uh no, I'm looking how I can thrive in spite of this, how I can use this to my advantage. So believe me, I'm trying to keep my mind open with both options, like, you know, because when you're looking for something, that's what you're gonna find, right?
Hmm.
So anyway, that's a little bit about how I got from, you know, suspecting it for myself some, and then my primary care, she didn't say anything, but she probably thought there's no way it's Alzheimer's. It's probably ADHD, and she told me the pills for ADHD also help with anxiety and depression, which I used to have. I thank goodness I don't have those anymore. And eating vegan for a year has helped me get rid of a lot of those issues, but including depression, anxiety, fibromyalgia, pain, a lot of things, and
So,
losing
so the
weight.
the diagnosis was that freeing when you finally were like, okay, there's something. Because I know a lot of times people will say, "What's wrong with me? I don't know." Everyone's like,
Yes.
"Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that," and you're just like, "Ah." And then when you're finally told, "Hey, this is something," and it helps to have that label. Did you find that freeing?
Yes, for me it wasn't a negative thing because at this point my inner self was healed a lot. I still have to heal a lot until the day I die, but I was in a good spot where I don't care what people think anymore. I didn't care if I have that label. I just knew that if I have the label, then I can get more solutions faster and solve the problems in my life. That's what I was looking for. So it gave me hope, and it gave me relief because I didn't understand why is wrong with me. My husband was getting so upset with me sometimes because of how we both had to go through the house and look for my phone, for my kids, for this, for that. I could never find. And God knows I become such a specialist in organizing and cleaning exactly because I couldn't stand. Like I knew the principles. If you have a place for everything and put everything in place, then and you're organized and clean and minimalistic, then it's much easier to keep track of everything, and then you won't be losing your stuff anymore like that. Guess what? I'm still freaking losing my stuff. Sorry for saying that
So,
word, but
so
um,
the challenges of having ADHD, like you're saying, one of them is not knowing where you're misplacing things and you can't find them. Can you
yes.
share maybe a few challenges that you've experienced?
Sure. So, all of these expressions and words that I'm going to put out there as symptoms of ADHD, or how does ADHD looks like for me in particular, and I know these are common for other people with ADHD and divergence. I'm just going to kind of enumerate a few of them that are the most debilitating for me at this time. So one of them is, and then we can discuss a few small details about each. The first one is hyperfocus. Hyperfocus makes me so involved into activities that I like or habits that I have already gained under my belt, whether good or bad, so focused on them that I can't break away from it. And I'm telling myself, this is too much. I need to stop. It's time to get ready to go to this place. But I can't. That feels so debilitating because I don't want to be late because I'm embarrassed. And to be late, I feel like when somebody's late, including myself, we're not showing respect for the other person's time. Okay, once every 10 times you meet a person, it's understandable. I can give myself grace for being late 5 minutes or even 10 minutes, as long as I tell the person, hey, I do apologize, I'm running late, I had this and this and that. But you know what the problem is? Most of the time, and I can't lie, I'm not even believable. I've been trained to tell the truth, so if I try to lie, I'm probably so easy to guess that I'm lying. So I can't even say, hey, I had an emergency, a tire problem, or, my dog got sick. And, so I'm not even good at lying. And I wouldn't even lie even if I was good at it because I don't believe in lying. And so what's my excuse? I just didn't prepare myself. I just underestimated, how long it was going to take me to prepare. So that's an example of hyper focus. And then you go on and on and on with that activity that you like. For some is something less productive, like video games. They get so good at it, but they can't pick up their socks off the floor. Somebody else has to do that from them and put them in the turn them over and put them in the basket, in the laundry basket. They forget to eat, they forget to go to the bathroom, they forget to take care of their most basic needs, and that's one example of hyperfocus. Another one is a problem with transitions. I can't just drop this and not finish. I have to finish it. Either that or I start. This is part of another symptom of ADHD. You start too many projects, you finish none.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's an exaggeration, but you keep seeking that dopamine. That our brain is low on dopamine, so we keep seeking the dopamine, the activities that we do like, prefer, want, need, feel like we need, and we can't stop ourselves. So when it's time to, I made myself an expression: stop, drop, and roll. Like they teach us when you have to, like when there's a fire, safety on the job. There's this expression: stop, drop, and roll. So I associate certain expressions to make myself remember. It's like a signal that I give to my brain: stop, drop. And I'm not saying drop like in drop everything you're doing right now. I don't care how messy it looks. If you're not even minimally completed, and somebody might like mess it up because they don't know what I'm doing, so they're gonna push it aside or throw it away. No, drop and get ready. This is the time. So that's a thing with hyperfocus. The other one is time awareness. Again, all of these are related. We'll just have to break them down for didactic purposes, because most recordings can go over an hour because nobody's going to listen to us for a whole hour, right? And be able to keep up and learn and absorb. But um, but if they get at least one thing, that's still good. So hyperfocus means problems with transitions, problem getting ready on time, overestimating the amount of uh, energy and time we do have when in fact we don't, because we turn out to be slower and more disorganized. So obviously that's going to take longer, and we're still going to make it late if we make it. And then, in spite of negative consequences, it could be a person we want to meet, and we love to meet that person. We absolutely adore that person. We're still going to be late. It doesn't matter. It's not avoidance. Nobody can tell you it's because you don't like your job. That's why you're late. No, it's not avoidance. I love my job, and I was still late. So those are examples of hyperfocus. Um, and
And the time
when
awareness, right? As well.
it's
Like,
related to time awareness, so time awareness would be another one, which is what we're lacking. We have time blindness in ADHD. We lose track of time. If we're doing something we do like, prefer, need, gives us the dopamine we're seeking, the excitement, the hope, then we lose track of time, and an hour seems like 5 minutes. But we need the other thing where we need to grow or increase our time awareness to counteract time blindness, by using timers and reminders and Siri and Alexa and calendars and planners. This one overlaps with a third one, which is executive function skills. Now, if you get on the pill, which many people don't want to because of either side effects or they're afraid. I don't know a lot of people who
oh,
want to
sorry.
rely on.
Which pill?
It's called the one I take is methylphenidate or Concerta, and sometimes it's hard to get, or you have to plan really well ahead. Hello, ADHD. How am I going to plan well to get my pill on time? Because once you get used to it, you're gonna feel weird if you don't have it for a day or two. But so one time it was a whole week before I could get it. Either it's out of stock or this and that. It's a controlled substance. You need an ID. How am I gonna remember my ID? Because I keep replacing my IDs because I lose them all the time, with my wallet and my kids and everything else, right? And then it was stolen from my car, my passport and my little bag, and I didn't even notice. But anyway, so you know but things come back to me because one of my organization strategies is to use labels on everything or write my name on everything. I don't care how it makes it look like a little kid in the daycare, but things do come back to me because where do I go? Usually I don't go. Well, people here are much more honest than in other countries. So if they find something, they might turn it into like a clerk at the store or customer service. But if I have my phone number, they might even call me. You know how many times my phone or something came back to me, because I had my name on it, and it made it easier for them to call. Of course, except my phone. I put my phone number on everything. Labels, I create my labels personalized on Amazon, but except my phone, where on the back I put, if you find this phone, owner name is, if you find this phone, call my husband Terrence at this number, because obviously they can't call me because they have my phone. So I've developed a lot of strategies, and I'm still struggling, Stephanie, but hey, I'm getting better every day, and that's what matters the most. But hyper focused time hyper focus. So if I'm expressing them in negative terms, hyperfocus, time blindness, um, which are the debilitating parts, and then executive functional skills lacking those, planning, organization, um, being on time, calendars, sticky notes, reminders, Alexa, Siri, AI, apps like Habio or Calm or everything that teach you certain things, so you can keep up with all the things you want to do. You have to do. It's always too much. I always do too much, and I end up exhausted, and I made myself sick. Especially, I was hyper focused on helping other people all the time. I was trained religiously, just like you, to put other people's before mine. So where I did that, and I got so good at it that my self care was always on the back oven. And so when you turn 40, that just doesn't work anymore. Started with diabetes and started with fibromyalgia and depression, and probably some hormonal changes are starting. So when all obesity and God knows what, and the job is hard, and the husband is not always emotionally there for me when I want him, though he's a great guy, and I love him and he loves me. We have a great thing going on. Been together for 17 years, but I'm still doing too much, and I'm trying to do less and say no and put my boundaries down, put my food down. I'm getting better, but am I there? Sure not, because sounds like this is gonna take a while. But as far as I could come for 2 years, I did. So hyper focus, time blindness, executive function skills, and the pill. Those are some things that could be good, could
Mhm.
be bad. Depends how you look at them. Is that my superpower, or is it my weakness? So I chose to rewire my brain to think of those as my superpower, because if focus is good, maybe I can make my hyper focus work for me. Too much of a good thing, but okay, you can put limits to it with alarms, 5 alarms if I have to be able to drop down everything and move on to where I need to go or need to do, like absolutely priority.
Maybe of something that you can hyper focus in a good way.
Sure. So, look, for example, these lives on Facebook and on TikTok, I became very hyper focused on them. Uh, that's like all I want to do, and all it's like you get addicted, because I felt like they were fairly successful for a first and second time. First on TikTok, first on Facebook the next day. That's where everything either builds up from, or goes to HELL, because um basically the best plan I can make, working hard on my executive function skills, which is the why do we don't like, why are we disorganized and all over the place? Because it's tedious. We don't like it. It doesn't give us the dopamine shot that we like, hit that we like. It's we want somebody else to do it for us if we could, but that costs money, so we can't hire. I can't hire an administrative assistant. Well, I did hire help because I've learned to delegate, so I don't drown. But are they gonna do it the way I do it? No. So I had to let go of my particular things, and as long as it's done, I don't care how you do it. Any way you do it, it's gonna be better than it's right now. So I was able to make progress with organization skills and everything, and planning, and using my calendars on my phone, and a paper backup, and a big family calendar, and this and that. But am I still running late sometimes? Yes. Am I still running around town and around house like a chicken with my head cut off? Yes. They used to drive my husband crazy before my birthday parties. You know, he would plan ahead, like a week or two ahead. Now, okay, what do we buy? Make me a list, blah blah. You know, super nice military guy, blah blah, experienced nurse. Me, running around like crazy doing our things, and the day of the party, running around like crazy. Did I have energy left to dance, which is what I love to do on my birthday parties, and talk with my friends? Barely.
Hello, my lovelies. It's Steph here for a quick break. If you're enjoying the Stuff Up podcast and you want to support the show, you can buy me a coffee. Just check the link in the show notes or the description, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can scan the QR code that's literally on your screen right now. Thank you so much. Sending love to you all, and back to the show.
Remind me your original question so I make sure I answer it. An example of what I'm hyper
Oh, what
focusing on.
hyper focus being a good thing. But
Okay.
that's a great example. And so also you said something about turning it around because we can see some of these things as debilitating, like this is what I hate about being ADHD. But is that then turning it into something beautiful, turning into like how can this be a good thing? That
Yes.
helps you to
Yes.
then focus in a healthier way on having.
Yes, because that's what I started to tell you, doing the lives on Facebook and on TikTok and making them interactive, that helps me um, practice accountability. I promised I'll show up for 10 weeks every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes. And I did. And I'm proud of myself. And uh, it's giving me both the dopamine hit and the tedious part of work that I have to put into so I can be ready on time. Like I was ready for you today. I was here half an hour
You were
before.
early. I was like, yay,
Yes,
Laura. Wow.
yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Uh, and people have a bad experience with people with ADHD. They're lovable, but they lack follow through. So you'll forgive them once and forgive them twice, and by the 10th time, you're like, you know what? Just just go, just get out of my life. I need to move on, you know. So it's annoying. So I don't want to be that. I want to be a reliable person. So I'm hyper focused on doing the live TikToks and preparing them and thinking about them and listen. So I listen to my audiobooks about ADHD and executive function and adult ADHD in women and strategies to improve this and tips for that. So I listen to those all the time and I love it. So I'm hyper focused on it because that's where I started. Your question was what's something positive that you're super focused on, that's your superpower. Well, that's one thing. These things have been in me for so long, they've been bubbling out. They wanted to come somewhere. All this knowledge that I got in my head from my own experience, from learning in psychology school, and from working with the kids. I've learned so much. I'm like, okay, this is like that fountain, and like the oil inside it just has to come out somewhere, because so that's one of my hyper focuses now. And another one that I mentioned is helping people. I'm still helping people, but hyper focus is a superpower. I'm still helping people, helping them help themselves. I'm not just giving the fish, I'm giving the pole. So um and or a fish for now, and a fishing lesson, a fish, then you eat the fish, then I'll do you a mini introduction fishing lesson, then we're going to do a lesson a week with the pole so you can catch your own fish. But basically helping people help themselves, that's another super focus that now it's a good thing. Why? Because I start saying no. Nope. It's a complete sentence. No, thank you. I don't want it. No, I'm sorry. I wish I could help, but I won't be able to put it on my schedule. Not until December in my Christmas break. And you know what? I don't even have to explain anymore. Easy? No. Possible? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. Do I need to do it more? Yes. So those are two examples of hyperfocus that I interpret positively, helping people help themselves after I'm done with priority number one, which is my health. First is spiritual. Secondly is my health. Without my health, I can't do the spiritual job of being, let's say, a missionary, which Jesus called all of us to be missionaries. Um, you know, not by necessarily knocking at the door, unless you want to get shot nowadays, or in
Oh,
Fayetteville. But yeah, so uh,
well,
but you make
well,
friends, and you don't talk about Jesus Christ unless they start asking. So there's so I'm gonna help you, but first I'm helping myself. What are my values? What is my identity? What is my authentic self? What are my priorities? Because the problem with ADHD is like you're all over the place, and everything seems important, even if it's just urgent or just important. Everything seems both urgent and important. I see it, I want to do it. What I don't, if I don't see it, back of the closet, back of the racks of books, um, completely forgotten, sitting there for 10 years. Socialnomics, a book probably already outdated. Can't use it as a reference and never read it. You know,
So you were just mentioning taking care of yourself and your body, and you did say being vegan has helped you with your ADHD, with your health. And so that's fascinating. I have heard how being vegan affects people in a more positive way, and I think it also depends on people's bodies. I don't really know. I'm not a doctor. Um,
right, me neither.
so eating healthier has definitely helped you, helped the ADHD, helped to maybe like have more control over the ADHD.
Yes, it helped me getting much, much healthier than before. It cleaned out my pipes, my cholesterol from my pipes for the first time in decades. Um, it has it has helped helped me get rid of depression because I started being vegan. I've tried vegetarian before years ago. It kind of takes a while to get used to it and learn the skills. It's a big lesson. Everyday learning, read labels, blah blah. But um, once I started doing it, with every month I could tell my energy was growing and growing, and I never had any left. Because of fibromyalgia and other conditions associated, diabetes, whatnot, and so and a tough job with students where I want to give it all and give it now and to everybody. So can you imagine how stressed I made myself because of my beliefs? So I had no energy for myself. So I noticed as a side effect, hey, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel happy. I'm able to walk more, run more. Um, I'm like, I actually feel happy. How is that possible? I thought I'd be depressed for the rest of my life, walking like a zombie on medicines, being able to do my job, give all that I have, give it to the job, and then come home and be a vegetable. It was a common, that's all I could do. And my husband kind of did everything for me. And sometimes when he was depressed, I did everything for him. So it's good to have, a helper, though that's not why we should get married. I mean, in my opinion, everybody does what they want. But so, I didn't want to get married so that I can have somebody to help me, though he does help me, and I do like that, and vice versa. But so um, basically, I saw this surges in energy more and more as I was being vegan for that whole year, and I started losing weight, and I started feeling energetic, and I started feeling happy. What? I thought I'm gonna die a zombie on medicines for depression, with no desire, joy, ability to do anything anymore. Me, the curious person, the person who wanted to do it all and do it now, like Freddie Mercury. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now. So, yeah, that's how I feel every day. Everything seems so important and so urgent. It's like, which do I pick? So that brings out to the other symptom of neurodivergence, particularly ADHD, is analysis what? Paralysis. Analysis paralysis. Trouble making decisions. Why? Everything looks important. I can't do a decision grid pros and cons for A, pros and cons for B. Because even if I give 1 point to each, the pros and each the cons, there's too much calculation, too tedious. And plus, some of them have more weight than others. This one could weigh 3 points, this one only half a point, this one two, and that one 10. Like, how do I even calculate that? So I heard about that strategy. I've studied about it. I've tried to use it, but it gets so complicated, with that hyperfocus, that um I don't know. So another one is we hyperanalyze. We hyper I used to hyperanalyze everything, um and just sit there and didn't know, take A or B or C or D F X Y Z. It's like a 360 vision. Like, I'm always aware of this and this and that. Which way should I go? It's not even just two choices. And recently my therapist got me out of that stuff. Um, she said, in the end, whatever you choose will be fine. Just do something. She didn't say it like this because this doesn't sound very friendly and nice. She's extraordinary. Um, Clinical mental health counselor with a PhD, anyway, she's incredible. Telehealth from New Jersey, and she's like one of my role models and the people I admire the most. So, um, so I've started doing that. Like, you know what? Just stop, drop, and just pick whatever and move on. Task initiation. Remember, just do something for God's sake. Just
Mm.
don't sit there analyzing, overanalyzing, overthinking, procrastinating. That so you were asking me about the label. Yes, I got relief when I got labeled ADHD, ADD, subtype, because I thought something is wrong with me. I thought I was stupid. What's wrong with my head? Do I have what's with this brain fog? Some of it was from perimenopause, some of it was from
So,
fibromyalgia.
I mean, this is all very helpful for people to understand that there's a struggle, and the executive functioning for people with ADHD is because it's not like
Messed up.
somebody who doesn't have ADHD. And it
Yes.
can be frustrating for people who don't understand it. So, understanding it, awareness and understanding is very important. And yeah, so it's so helpful to hear your journey and like how the things that are helping you and the things that you've been struggling through as well. And I was wondering if you have any for anybody who's wondering maybe they have ADHD or how can I go about maybe finding a healthier way through this. Do you have any words of wisdom or anything that you'd like to tell people who might be where you were before?
Right. Well, definitely want to encourage everyone to not be afraid to get diagnosed and learn the truth. Many of our listeners may be Christians, maybe of other religions, spiritual source trained in those or brought up a certain way or the other. But even in the Bible, it says, "You will know the truth." Jesus says, "You will know the truth, and the truth shall set you
Free.
free." So for me, it's always about the truth. And what's the point of hiding it? What's the point of hiding from myself? It's like trying to steal my own head, or I don't know, like I'm at the trainer with, I'm at the gym with my trainer, and she has to walk out for a second, and I just sit there instead of doing my exercises, and I'm trying to cheat. Who am I cheating? Her? I'm cheating myself. I paid for that. I showed up for that. Yes, I'm tired and I need a break, but who am I cheating if I'm just pretending I'm doing something that I'm not doing? Same thing with the label. Don't be afraid of a label. Label doesn't have to be a good thing. Many people, just like me, when they were diagnosed officially by a neuropsychologist, they felt the relief that I did. Hey, so I'm not stupid. Hey, so I'm not crazy. Hey, so I'm not lazy. I'm not procrastinating because I'm lazy. I'm not starting a lot of projects because I'm all over the place. Jack of all trades, a master of none. No, it's actually called the polymath. Many of us are jack of all trades, but it's not that we're not master of one. We're just at different levels of mastering of everything. We all have one thing that we hyper focus on that we're so good at. And um so just focus on our strengths. Everybody has weaknesses and strengths. So focus on our strengths and build on those. So I encourage you, don't be afraid to find out the truth. Because if you're not honest with yourself, even in the 12-step programs, which was the only free uh, organized way to help people with addictions, and ADHD sometimes feel like an addiction. It has things in common with addiction per se. Is the seek of dopamine, is feeling crappy when you don't get your dopamine, um, getting, so choosing short-term pleasure over the long-term health and wellness, and ignoring the long-term horrible consequences that can happen when you continue in your addiction, even when you know that you want to stop, but you feel like you cannot control it. So you know, then the diagnose and therapists and coaches, if you can afford it, they will help you. Believe me, it's worth the money. Some of the coaches are not so expensive as we might think. When we look at them and we hear such wonderful solutions they give us and how amazing they are and how helpful, we think these guys and girls, they must cost a lot of money, an arm and a leg. You know what? They're not. Some of them have a sliding scale. Some of them will choose to give you a half an hour pro bono, just to see to give you some pointers. Maybe that's all they can give you, but hey, that's something. So my encouragement is don't struggle by yourself. It's up to you, of course, but I'm saying I chose to invest. Do I ever have the money, the time, the energy to do coaching, whether it's life recovery coach, um, or uh, whether is a relationship coach, where is a personal trainer coach, nutritionist coach, you name it, we have them. So some of these highly experienced, incredibly effective ones, they don't cost as much as we think. Some of them do, but that's okay because they're worth it every freaking penny. You can cut out the freaking if you need to. Um, Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, but I get so passionate about, and with my teacher thing, it's like you modulate your voice and change your inflection because the way I'm talking so fast and so much, it's hard to keep people following me, and I understand that. So I usually aim to finish speaking before they finish listening, and that's why I give most people, as they're annoying, I give them permission. Hey, you interrupt me. Don't let me keep chasing a rabbit that I don't even want to chase. It's just an ADHD thing where everything is connected. So it's not that I get, some people might think, but you're digressing right now. Yeah, I know that's how it looks like for you, but for me, everything connects with everything. Like the book metaphor, women are like spaghetti. Um, some men are like that too, but most of them are, more able to compartmentalize. Like the wolf fully has compartments. They're able to compartmentalize, drop this and change to that. But for us, for many of us women, especially with ADHD, everything connects with everything. Like I said in the beginning, hyperfocus, time awareness, task initiation, executive function, the way you take your medicine or forget to take them, the way you train yourself with your organizational skills so you won't be all over the place. Do you think yourself as a polymath or a jack of all trades, master of nine? Polymath is very positive. You're very smart. What is another one that I really want to mention? The pill, the pill. Um, the only way to find out if it helps you or it doesn't is to try it and keep it up for a while, because the pill gave me so much more clarity. It worked for me.
Mm.
Thank you, God. It was so helpful. I got so much more clarity. Like, why is this thing here in the corner? Been sitting here for 2 years. Never used it. Never touched it. And now I'm getting the clarity of mind. You know what? I'm just gonna see what I give it to the thrift store? Do I sell it on the marketplace or eBay? Is it valuable enough that it's worth the time and the money? So now I'm so clear about my three options: or give it away, or throw it, 4 options. If I were to overanalyze, I'd probably come up with 40 options. But let's just stop at four for now. This thing, maybe I'll just throw it in the trash. It's not environmentally friendly because it's made of plastic, but to save time, what do I want? Do I want time? Do I want money? Do I want energy? I can't have them all. I have to pick which one is the dominant. So if
Yeah.
throwing in the trash solves my problem, throw it in the trash.
Sometimes
But
the simplest thing is just like, because if you think of, oh, I have to sell it, and how do I do that? And then it's another kind of layer to add to
then
things.
people have to come to your house and pick it up. Then you get into security, and that's how analysis paralysis comes into play. And like I say, all these things we divide them on specific topics for didactic purposes, but in my brain they're all connected, they're all related, they all
Mm.
have
Yeah.
areas of overlap. It's like bam, 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 but you know,
It's like you can
it's a
start talking
cluster.
about one thing, and then like I do this, and I'm like, I get over here, and then my sister one time she goes, "Tell me how you got there," and it all connects.
To me
It's
or to
really
us,
fun.
yes, not to them.
Not to that.
To
Well,
me,
because I if I explained it, she could then see it. But yeah, and then I can go back. I'm like, yeah, I remember how I got there. It's very fascinating. But
right.
so for anybody who feels like they might they struggle with some of these things, um, go see your doctor, see what you can do,
Please,
talk to
yes.
somebody. Yeah, it's very
If you are
important.
privileged enough to be able to afford health insurance, therapy insurance, Coaching is not usually with insurance, but uh, personally, I knew, like, I hear no time, no money, no energy, no this, no that. Well, who's in charge of my schedule? How about I make the time, the money, the energy, and whatever it takes? What will it take for me to show up at the gym for myself and for my personal trainer if I need the accountability? So where can I cut? Well, since my goal is to lose weight, why don't I just cut out on eating out, which costs a lot of money, spend time, blah blah. It's nice because you don't have to wash the dishes and you can have just nice conversation with the husband, and it's so much better than whatever I could cook. Hate cooking, it's too tedious. So I take it from my husband. He loves doing that. Okay, do it. Don't have to like what he's doing, but I'm gonna try to be nice and say, thank you for cooking. I think the peas tasted so good.
Find something
So
positive in it. This
find
is what
something
I need
positive.
to find. I need to find a husband who cooks because I like cooking occasionally, only when I find it fun, but generally, like, not every day. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's I have hyper focus on other things because I'm thinking most anyone can cook at a decent level without having to be a chef. But can who can do what if I got so much training in, and I've learned 11 languages and I can use uh, to incorporate all three of my licenses in teaching exceptional children, so students with special needs, and ESL or world
The most
languages.
important thing is taking care of yourself, not listening to the other voices, right? That's important.
It's
Um,
not going to affect your worth. Your self-worth is the same. Like the dollar bill, $100 bill. You can step on it, you can wet it, you can make it into a bowl, wrinkle it, um, pour a little bit of ink on it, write with a mark on it. Does it still worth $100? Yes. Until you tear apart. Sometimes you tear apart, you put tape on it, it's still worth $100. They'll still take it. So your worth cannot be lessened by having a diagnosis or a label. The label is just so the doctors can, you know, spot this person has this, because they don't want to say all the things that we discussed in an hour, or you know, um, everything from hyperfocus to task initiation. uh, what am I going to tell to my colleague doctor or psychologist? This person has one, two, three, four, five, six. No, I'm just using a label. It's just a working tool. That's it.
yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with our personal worth. So I'm all for the truth, all for the diagnosis, all for the treatment. Save money from our addictions that are not helpful for us, and invest them in a coach, in a therapist, even if I have to pay out of pocket, the sooner the better, because otherwise things get chronic, and they're more difficult. It's more difficult to get our health back. So I want to end with something. I see that you are wanting to end our discussion, which I completely understand. I see it's 3 o'clock because something for my TikTok live reminder for tomorrow,
Oh,
which is came in. So that's how I know. It says TikTok live tomorrow at 3, 24 hours in advance or something. Notice on my calendar. I need like 5 of these, to be sure
okay.
I'm on track. So
Yeah.
that's how I do, and that's okay. It works for
Yeah.
me.
Works for
You
you.
know, uh, sticky notes of different colors, notes here, large print. Um, like for example, the pink ones. Can you see
Hmm.
this?
Yep.
The pink ones for my self-care, blue ones what I want to tell my husband, orange ones for my tasks for work, for my teaching job, and green ones could be like appointments for doctors and personal trainers and things like that,
Oh,
which I
that's
have a lot
awesome.
of those too. So I hope these things that we shared together were important. Thank you, Stephanie, for keeping me on track, so I can stick with the main topic, main idea. But see, we're coming back full circle where we started. ADHD is part of my story, part of my journey, but it's not my identity. It doesn't affect my self worth. Nothing and nobody can give me the self worth if I don't give it to myself. Just because I breathe, just because I was born. Did I ask to be born? Nope. I was born and I breathe. I am valuable. I am worthy. I am loved. And if nobody's gonna love me, I'm gonna love myself. But thank goodness a lot of people love me, including Stephanie, who invited me to her show. She took that big risk with this big mouth of mine. Haha. Um, so thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks,
And
Laura. I appreciate it.
hopefully, hopefully we can do one more um, one more session. This time I'll be the host and you'll be the guest. So we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Any
And if
subject that you want.
Any subject. Whoa.
One last thing, and then I'll be done. This is one of my strategies. Write sticky notes. Color coding. Color coding is one of my strategy. The power of association, like listening to a certain YouTube relaxing sleep music before I go to sleep. That helps me go to sleep right away because it's the power of association. And then I do this big, large, sticky line notes, and then a box. And then when it's done, I just check it like deep down, and it makes me feel great.
Oh,
I know it
nice.
seems such a common thing, and then when the task is done, off the wall, off
Yes.
my blackboard, and I don't throw it in the trash. I put it there where people can see, so I can see. I did this. I'm so proud of myself. That's not selfish. It's healthy.
Yeah.
So the one more thing that I wanted to say is one of these days maybe we can talk about sensor issues because that also overlaps with what you have been very open publicly about being HPS hyper uh, hypersensitive, something like that.
HSP. Oh, what? I've completely lost what it is.
Highly
Highly
sensitive
sensitive.
person. Yes,
The word
and
was gone.
so that's the same like
Yeah.
in neurodivergency. So neurodivergence thing, sensory needs, sensory issues, where all my five senses or our five senses are um so like out of what's that word, out of range, like we're way too sensitive. Lights are too bright, sounds are too loud, touch feels too strong. They'll be like, hey, Miss Trader, good job. Ow, my husband, you want a hug? Yeah. Ow, so he knows gentle hugs, and people who are hugging me like crazy. I have to be assertive and put my foot down and say, I love hugs, but the gentle ones. So I
Yes.
try to be nice. So anyway, sensory needs is a very important part of ADHD. It can wreck my life. So just wanted to quickly put that out there. But of course, there's a lot of other symptoms, and there's only so much we can hit in 1 hour, even with the extra minutes. So thank you once again. Definitely want to stop here because I don't want to take too much of your time. So hopefully there will come a day we can do this again.
Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing your experiences, your wisdom, and all the things that you've been coming through. And it's beautiful to hear. I appreciate you. And thank you all for listening and watching. Sending love to you all. Bye.
Bye.